Welcome back, sewists. We're back to sewing today, and we're working on the Kalle shirt. You've probably seen this if you subscribe to Threads magazine. This actually was in it recently. I've owned the pattern for quite a while. I'm very excited to finally get started on it. I had a pair of lovely white, I had a piece of lovely white linen that was originally what I was going to make this out of. I wanted to make the dress version or the longest version in it. And after I got it pre-shrunk and all the things done to it, it's just too sheer. I could do it and make a slip, and I still might, but I want something I can wear right away and not have to layer. So I ran to my local Hobby Lobby and I picked up this, and it looks like a nice sort of shirting. It is cotton and linen blend. It's been pre-shrunk. I have not measured to see how much it shrank, but it does wrinkle, which, let's face it, it's cotton and linen. It's going to, but not terribly. So I'm going to give it a quick press before cutting. Let's talk a little bit about the pattern, however. I pulled the pattern out and I've measured it. It goes up to a size 20, and the hip, because that's where I'm fullest, for the size 20 is a 48. So depending on how much wearing ease you want, now that's the body measurement, not the finished garment measurement. When you go to the finished garment measurements, I think it's only giving wearing ease because it says finished garment measurement 10 inches. So I know that's not correct. That must be the wearing ease included, which would bring the hip up to a 58. If you're busty, that's the bust is a 46 on the size 20, just in case you're size inclusive. The smallest size is a 0, and that's a bust 31 and a hip 30, time for the glasses, 3. It's very straight, so if you're curvy like I am, I'm considering throwing a belt over it. We'll see. I may really like it as a slouchy, comfy little tunic too. Who knows? I'm very excited to try it in this fabric. I am going to go ahead and do View B, which is the tunic. It's the in between these two on the cover. It's the tunic style, and it has the placket front, which is not shown in this picture, but there is one that kind of reminds me of a polo placket where it ends here and has the little B at the bottom, or the little arrow bottom. So that's the view I want to do, specifically because that placket's a little more tricky, and I think it might be more beneficial to those who are watching who are seeking some help. The traditional placket is not as difficult. It has, no matter which length you choose of shirt, you can do either style placket. It has the polo placket, the traditional button exposed placket, and the hidden button placket options, all available in this. It has very nice directions. I'll show you some close-ups over there of the nice little booklet that it comes with. So now that I've said all that, I'm going to put some white thread on everything. I'm just going to sew this in white because this is a white and a navy, technically, the way it's woven. It's got a navy thread in it. Sew it all up in white. I'm going to give this a good press. And then I need to, I believe, increase the hip on this. I do not want a snug hip at all. So I'm going to double check all my measurements, and I may just draw out that hip line, make it a little more angled to give me a little more room. And I'm also going to check the length to make sure it hits me where I want, that it's not too short or too long, and we'll be ready to go. Let's go sew the Kalle. All right, I'm working on my pattern stuff here. I'll show you any alterations that I make. But first, I want to show you their really nice instruction booklet that comes with this pattern. I think they're so well done. So this shows you your views. It gives a little information about it. It's a true little booklet with all of the size charts, very nice instructions and illustrations. I think it explains really well, and I will be doing this on camera with you, so if you have struggles or get confused about it, you can check in. They also have, I know other people have made videos on this, and I think they even might have their own video on it. And here's the information on the pattern company themselves, and you can follow them on Instagram, go to their website. Very impressed with the pattern. All right, I am working on my pattern front and back, my shirt front and back, and I measured, and it's real close to my actual hip with ease because I'm so full in the hip, so I definitely want to add to that. And what I don't need it in the bust line. This is sort of an oversized look, you know, with a drop shoulder, so I am just easing out from below the sleeve and making it as wide as I can to fit on this tissue. It's about 3/4 of an inch. Now, I was going to make the shorter view. Here's the difference between the sort of tunic and the dress, and it's about 4 inches
3.5 is the difference between the two. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just make the longest view, but do the placket neckline. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out, I think I have plenty of fabric. I bought 3 yards, so hopefully I have enough, and it is also, it was 58 wide, so we should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. I'm doing the same thing front and back. The short view has a faced hem on it, and I almost decided to alter this and do a faced hem on this because it does look so nice. They hem it with bias tape, which I also really love, so I'm going to go ahead and do the bias tape hemming. All right, back to the patterns. Another place you can add, if you need to, for fitting, if you need a little more fullness, and I'm going to, is in the center back. They have got a nice pleat in the back. You can do it inverted or regular. They have both ways available. It's just in how you fold it. And you can add to that back pleat and just make the pleat deeper, which is what I've done. So I will still fold to its regular line up here at the shoulder, but I've added a 1/2 inch up here at the shoulder. And then as it goes down, it's a little wider. All the way down here, it's a full inch. So I can add, when you think this is kind of fold, this will give me 2 inches here in the hip and another 3/4 twice, or an 1.5 inches. And that's in the back only. And then I've also done this on the front. So I have given myself quite a few more inches. It's easy to take this back out here. Here, not so much, but it doesn't matter because of the pleating and how it's folded. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do to make sure it's not snug in the hip for me. And that's it, super easy. I'll show you how it gets folded out when we get to the side. Need to oil my scissors. I have to make a decision. Do I want to leave this extra wide on the side for the shirt tail, or do I want to drag over this shape and have a shorter straight area and more curve? And I think I'm just going to leave it more open and straight. It's easy. I'm going to be doing self-enclosed seams, and I think that's going to be fine. If you would prefer to have it tighter, you can actually copy this whole shape and bring it over so you have less of a straight area on the side. I'm starting to lay out because I have a stripe. I want to make sure I have it perfect on the fold where I will be laying these. They both are cut on the fold because I am doing the placket front, the little enclosed placket front, and not the traditional open front placket. So this is 3 yards is what I bought. It was 58 wide, I'm pretty sure. So you can see how I have it folded over, keeping my lines nice and straight. Can use that for grain line to make sure everything's straight because it's a woven in design. This is what's left. This portion is where I will be getting my collar pieces and my yoke pieces down there. And then I have this whole piece over here that I will be getting my pocket, my placket, and my cuff for the sleeve. It's technically like, it's this little sleeve band that will be cut out of this little portion, and we will be good to go. 3 yards pre-shrunk should do it. Down here is where I've added a little extra. You can see it slowly veers out, and then I've added along the center back also, keeping the center back on the straight of grain. And this excess in the center back will just get folded into the pleat, but give me a little more hip room, which I could always use. Kind of thinking this is going to be a super cute little dress that I could belt and wear a lot this summer. Because I have a woven in design, it is the same front and back, though I am treating it like this is the right side. I cannot tell a difference at all from one side to the other. Sometimes woven in design, one side will seem like the right side, and this one, it is not. It is a very plain weave, so very easy to work with. We're ready to interface. I just have a nice lightweight fusible interfacing here. You need one for your placket, and the interfacing goes from stitching line to stitching line or fold line to fold line here, so you don't need it in this seam allowance. So you can actually fold that back before cutting your interfacing. You need one of the collar stand, and you need one interfacing for the top collar. So those are the pieces we'll interface. If you want to, you could also do a little interfacing in the top of the pocket that folds over. Here's the little pocket. If you have a super lightweight and soft fabric, sometimes the pockets get a little rumply at the top. And if you want to put a little bit of interfacing in this section of it before you fold down and sew it up, it just gives more body and a little stiffness to the pocket and makes it lay nicer on the body and on the shirt. Okay, I have laid out my pattern pieces. There's my placket, my two collar pieces, and we're ready to cut. It's easier sometimes just to take the actual piece of fabric and open it up instead of folding your interfacing. So that's what I did. A quick note, if you're using fusible interfacing, I can feel my little dots here. You want to make sure you cut the placket interfacing correctly so that it fuses to the right side, the wrong side or the correct side of your placket, so you end up with your placket backwards. So that's what I've done here. I've actually flipped my pattern over so that when this fuses, it fuses so that I will have it to the wrong side of my fabric. It looks the same either way, but it's an asymmetrical pattern piece. So you want to kind of think that through. These are symmetrical. It doesn't matter at all for those pieces. When cutting the interfacing for this, you are actually only cutting interfacing strips for this area and this area. You're not cutting this entire piece. There's no interfacing in this whole center part. So this is 1 1/8 inch wide. I'm just going to draw some lines on here and cut out strips for that. I've already done one placket and I did it backwards. Once I got it fused, I had actually done my fusing wrong so that the placket would open the opposite direction. So I'm making another placket. I will have 2 plackets. One will be mirror image, and this is the one that will be correct. This is the wrong side, and this is where I will be fusing my pieces on. You can see how this is. And I didn't catch it. I got everything transferred, didn't realize it till I went and double checked with my directions and saw that I had it backwards. So don't do like I did. Okay, here is my new placket. I've got my little pieces interfaced. I've got my markings transfer. This is on the wrong side, which is the side I will see when stitching. On the right side, I have gone ahead and put my little markings for my buttonholes, just little start and stops. I've not picked out my buttons yet, but I have got so many buttons, so I will pick out, I just think I need 3, maybe 4 total, and that's it for this project.
Okay friends, we're going to stop there. I'm going to do this as another 2-part video. I would like to hear how you feel about me doing these projects as 2 parts, one with the prep and cutting out and one with the jumping right into sewing. It makes for a shorter video. I think it's a little more easily consumed. However, it does stretch out your project over 2 weeks. So leave me a little comment below. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next week as we sew it all up.